Yes, what's going on YouTube? So this is the next video what we're going to be talking about today, okay? This is how I rebuilt my life, right, with one high income skill, okay? And then basically how you can replicate this as well, right? And how you can learn how to make £5,000 a month from zero, okay? This is a proven model. I've done it myself. Last year generated over £79,000 last year doing this exact model, going from zero, okay? So I'm going to break down, right, everything I've done, starting from zero, what I used to do, the systems that I had, had to learn, the skills I had to learn, all the in bits, and the tidbits, anything in between, right, and everything about the offer, about high income skills, about everything in general, okay, all condensed down into one video, okay? This normally takes, months to learn, right? I want to try and put as much value in this video as possible for free, okay? Because you see so many people out there now, okay, charging for ridiculous amount of, of money for a small bit of information, okay? So I want to show you how I went from zero here, right, to generating over £79,000, okay, in the space of 12 months, what I think was absolutely ridiculous. And it completely changed my life. It's put a perspective where I can go work where I want in the world. I can go and do what I want. I've got this absolute freedom what I never had before. So breaking it down before we go into the actual, the nitbits of the actual skill itself. Okay, so basically what I used to do, I've done this since I was 18. Okay, now I'm 28 now. So 10 years of doing this, right? I'm just on the verge of going 29. So 10 years of doing this where I would work a normal job. This was me, absolute horrendous. Absolute ban at that. I don't know what's worse, the haircut there now or this one, but this is where I used to always do work, some bar jobs, in Liverpool, in my local area, trying to do a bit of part-time job, putting on loads of weight, not really being happy, okay, for the winter period, okay. And then what I used to do then, okay, to get a little bit of experience in my life, go and learn, get out of my hometown, was I became a rep, okay. So I worked for Thomas Cook, I worked for TUI Scene, two massive airline companies, TUI and Thomas Cook, right? I'd go work there for a couple of months, all right, and then I'd come back to the, to the UK to work in boring warehouse work, bar work, anything I do, just to sort of get over the days. And then what happened then over a period of time, I became a DJ, all right? So I've done DJing now for probably the last 4 or 5 years. Amazing, got to travel the world, play loads of gigs, but I was just going through this same cycle, okay, of just working and travel, and then I generated enough money where I was able to go and explore, to go like the other side of the world. I was going to Dubai, Thailand, etc. But something happened when I was in Thailand 2 years ago, okay, what completely changed my mind, changed my perspective on life in itself, right? And I just thought, right, I've done this cycle now for 9 years, okay, so I work this horrible job, then I'd end up coming back working away in a party resort or something like that, okay, and then I'd go travel, all right, same cycle. I thought, right, I need to do something more with my life, okay, I need to completely change it. I'm doing the same things year in, year out, something needs to change, right? So the one thing what changed for me was I came home from Thailand when I was skint. I had no money. I was completely, out of my depth. I got told I was going to get, a load of work over there. Didn't get any work whatsoever. Tried to be like this digital nomad. Seeing all these online courses, videos from people like Iman Gadzi and, Samuel Nua. All these guys, I actually really look up to. Okay, but I thought, right, I can do this on a whim. I did not really understand how big, it would be to try and change your life, trying to make money online. I thought, right, this is, I overcomplicated in my head, but at the same time, I was very, very new, okay? And this is the thing as well, you're not going to turn, thousands of pounds in day one, all right, or week one, okay? It does take some time to learn. However, I'm going to use it from what I've learned in the last 2 years and paying thousands of pounds for coaches and mentors and joining all these groups, right? Condense that information down for you to learn, okay? So even if you pick up one new thing today, all right, use that going forward, okay? So what I would do, every single year, around about New Year's, I would always make myself, a plan. What do I want to do this year? Where do I want to travel? All this sort of stuff. How much money I want to make, right? And I decided I want to make £40,000 in 2025. That is my goal, is to make 40 grand all year round from different work, different sort of businesses. So I knew I'd make about 20-25 grand from working and DJing and stuff like that, and running an events company that I have, right? So I thought, right, how can I make an extra £15,000? And basically what I came across was high income skills. Now from this, okay, you're probably wondering what a high income skill is, right? If you want the ultimate fast pass and the ultimate cheat code for this, right, I've got a Skool academy link, all right, what I basically show people in the space of 30 days to go from zero to making financial freedom, okay? And everything that you learn in 6 months, you can learn it really, really fast in 6 easy steps. This is designed for beginners. Right, people who are starting off at zero, who want to make a bit of money online, this is designed for them. But the people who are making 5-10k a month, this is not for you. All right, this is for beginners to get up to speed. It's sort of what we're doing in this video, but this is more in depth. We go more about tools, systems, everything is in there. Rewiring your brain, mindsets, all that sort of stuff. So What I decided to do then was obviously we use this high income skill, what I've learned in the Skool Academy, what you guys can learn as well. The link will be in the description, right? And I became, I thought I need a business. I need to be, my own boss. So I created my own brand, Local Looks, right? Set up the business, done everything I needed, and I thought, right, what can I do? Okay, and one thing I was really good at, and I thought, use my skills, right, was content creation. So I was doing TikTok for a lot of people, building websites. I knew I could use websites sort of like Go High Level and Framer. Obviously, we'll go into a little bit more detail on that in a little while. But I was using these skills from these websites. I thought, right, I can use that then to charge friends first, then businesses, and then start working with people I don't even know, okay, a lot of money. And people will pay for it. And I was very surprised, especially when I got my first sort of paycheck through. It was very, very small, right, because I was just gaining experience. But then when I started getting the big ones, I cleared a deal the other day for 1,500, paid them full. I was like, that is a crazy amount of money for me. Some people that not be might not be that big. Okay, some people are clearing 5 or 10k, but when you're starting out and you've got a month's worth of money paid in full in one payment, you're like, wow, that is a lot of money. Okay, so if you want to get started, there's some basic tools that you need to get started, okay, for running your business, okay. So number one is Hostinger, okay. You're going to have Hostinger. I'm going to put all my referral links down below as well in the description if you want to use it. Hostinger is somewhere you can have your, host your domain. Websites and all that are great on their emails. And, locking in that domain itself. So obviously I own the Local Looks name, etc. Go High Level as well. All right, this is your all-in-one platform. Go High Level. You are 100% going to need Go High Level, right? People bash it and they want to use other software. I swear by Go High Level. I don't care. The amount of automations, everything what you need, CRMs, right? A lot of this might not make sense now, right? But basically anything you need in business, handling emails, handling calendars, book calls, right? Handling your finances and stuff like that, right? It all runs through Go High Level and it's an all-in-one platform and is absolutely essential. Number 2 and 3 can be linked together in a way for graphic design, sort of designing logos, etc. Canva, we use this as well. I'll show you how we use it a little bit later on with content creation, etc. ChatGPT as well, this is basically like my Bible. I use this every single day. It's the most used app I always use every single day. It's 100% worth it. For generating ideas, generating scripts, filling out contracts, payment agreements, all this sort of stuff. I use ChatGPT every single day in and around my business for other businesses as well. So 100% we'll be using that. And then Stripe or a payment processor, like Wise or something like that. Okay, if you're going into business, all right, and you do not, I'm saying this straight up, I'm not giving you financial advice, but I'm just saying off my own perspective and own horror stories that I've heard, using my own experience, right? Stay away from stuff like Revolut, okay? If you're taking money and stuff like that, the amount of horror stories I've heard from people using Revolut and then their account get locked, right? If you're starting off, in business in general, use something like a Monzo and, set up a business account. Obviously, if you're not just starting out, okay, you're probably thinking, right, I probably don't need to do this. It's best to do it at the start than wait, till you're clearing 5, 6, 7 grand, months or whatever, you're going crazy. Even if you're making 2, 3 grand months, right? You need to have these locked in right now, because if you're doing it a little bit later on, it can get a little bit messy. So, lock in your Stripe, lock in your business account and stuff like that, okay? Then what you want to do then is you want to optimize your profile. So we're going to go into this a little bit later on when we're setting up the department. But basically, you want your profile to be looking very, very smart and professional. Like, obviously, you see mine here. This was from, obviously, a few weeks ago, and it's completely changed now. But you want your layout, and people, when they click on your profile, they need to know exactly who you are. If it's mismatched and there's loads of different stuff going on and your profile is a mess, guess what? People aren't going to take you seriously. They're not going to go out on their case. So when we're talking about setting up, what you want to be doing as well is looking at your bio. So we've got your bio, you've got your highlights, you've got your profile picture, stuff like that. Okay, so you need a nice little clean logo if you're doing this as a brand. Have a clean bio, who you are, what you do, what your offer is, a clear CTA as well. Okay, so if you don't know what a clear call to action is, right, so you need to say, all right, click here for this, all right, comment this word here, comment this keyword, something like that, a call to action that, potential leads and clients can, replicate and do, right, to perform an action, okay? And then that action is usually like a lead form, it gets them into a funnel, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. And then we can use highlights as well for social proof of, collecting testimonials, building trust, all this sort of stuff here. So the way we do it as well with Nick setting, absolutely an amazing character in the space been looking out to, right? The way he does here, okay, his profile funnel will start here, clients, testimonials, etc. He's got a clear bio, all right, what the offer is, okay, built 310k month from consultation firms, 65 million in sales, stuck in the 100k month, DM me info, okay? So that is his CTA, his DM info. And then once you've clicked info, right, you've typed in that word info, it will start a process of, with the CTA, you've, possibly a fill out form or something like that, all right? So personal brands should always have a clear photo of you as well, okay? All your profile pictures should be clear. It should be, pristine. It shouldn't be like you and all the boys holding bottles, all right? It should be just be literally a face of you. Everyone can go on your profile and go, all right, that's you. So as soon as you go on the profile, they need to know who you are, what you're doing. So for your CTA as well, right, and you need to make sure it is clear, all right? You need to say, we're going to show here on the side, all right? You need to say line 1, who you are, who you help, and the result. Okay, so like I help gyms sign 15 plus new members every single month, helping real estate agents book 10 plus calls a month. We build websites that convert browsers and buyers, right? And it must be specific to your niche and your outcome. Okay, so people, the first thing they're going to see when they go on your profile, apart from your picture and your highlights and obviously your feed, they're going to look at your bio. Okay, so your bio needs to be like that. So line number 2, okay, you need to have a little bit of authority in here, okay, as well. Okay, and this is what you need to be different, all right? Built systems that generated 60k in 6 months, all right? Done for you for full service reports. Stuff like this, all right, where people can take you seriously. Automation and content and ads, proven growth system, all right? Short proof, unique edge, and a reason to trust you. Then finally, you need as well the call to action. Okay, apply for your free strategy call. DM me for growth to get started. Join the program. Tell them exactly what action to take to start them getting in the process of obviously your business and your service that you want to offer. All right. So bio could be, I help local gyms get 15-20 new members a month. Built growth system generated over 60k in 6 months. DM me Jim for details. Okay. So you want to learn then what his system is. All right. All you've got to do is DM him the word Jim, and then he'll start that process of teaching you and probably getting you in a sales call or something like that. And that's how it is, right? So users find your social media profile through different various means, okay? Organic, paid, referrals, suggested followers, come up in reels, or paid ads, all right? Users then scan that profile in 2 main parts, and they can check you out in under 10 seconds, all right? They can check your highlight, your proof, and your stories. Prospects can scan your highlights, and, basically to get an idea of what you do roughly, okay? So if your website says, as sort of that social proof there at the start, it can act as like a mini little website, okay? What is visible 24/7? Like Instagram is always up, so people, if they're going on your account and they can have a little scan through like the little start here section, all that sort of stuff, right? They should have all their questions answered realistically in their highlights, all right? So a big thing you have in your highlights is like services, what you actually offer, reviews, a work, probably like a start here process, something like that, about us, quick story, who you are, etc. A get a quote or a CTA, pointing to the link in the bio, right? So it all should be linking towards that. And then secondly, we've got your bio as well. So your bio is the first thing people read when they land on your page, all right? It's a digital shot front. You need to say who you are, what you are, like we just said then, okay? So it needs to be clear, it needs to be concise, right? People don't care who you are in a sense, right? But they care what you can do for them, right? So if you're a service-based business, and you're working on me, on my bio now it says, I'm working for back-end systems for service-based businesses, generating more Google reviews, so people who are service-based businesses click on my profile, they can see exactly what's going on, all right? So a clear bio should be clear, right? It should be specific, right? It should be saying like sort of roughly where you are, like UK or something like that, and it should tell you the clear next step action to take, all right? The CTA, right? What actions you want them to take, i.e. comment a certain word, click a certain profile, stuff like that, all right? So like transforming homes in Manchester with professional painting and decorating, 3 quotes, fast turnaround, tap here below. So that's more of like a, obviously a painting and decorating business, but then obviously we've done the other side then with the coaches for the personal brand sort of thing, okay, when we're trying to teach people, all right? And then your CTA is your call to action, okay? It's the single most important part of your Instagram profile, okay? Because it bridges, your social media system, right, and your social media attention to your actual business system, okay? So it comes together, as that bridge between the two worlds, all right? And that's how they're going to convert from your social media to your main business, and then they come together through that CTA, okay? Most businesses, waste this with this link by sending random people to their homepage, to Facebook, or a random site, all right? What you want to do, and we're going to go into this, is you want to send them towards a lead capture form, okay, or a landing page, something like that, to start them in a funnel and start them in a process, all right? So you are not wasting time sending them to other places, okay? It all should be centralized to one key landing page, all right? So basically what we're going to do is we turn profile clicks into qualified leads. This all builds in an email list in your CRM, reduces the loss of inquiries coming in, and creates a measurable ROI from social media as well. So we can literally see from the funnels coming in, right, all the way what our ROI is for social media, okay? And we do that by tracking what will go on a little bit later on as well. But basically, all these three main concept pillars all should point towards one thing. What is your lead capture form? Like we just said, okay? Every single touch point, okay? Your website, your Instagram, your bio, you know, your YouTube videos like this, right? DM automations, your content, your paid ads, right? All push people to that one lead capture form, all right? Fill in this form, because the second they do, your system wakes up and the system gets going, okay? It sends a notification, drops them into your email sequence, follows up automatically, tracks them until they do buy, okay? And they have the nurture sequence. What we obviously I've spoken about on my last video as well, okay, where we basically nurturing people going from cold to warm to book call to sold, okay? And if they don't, you know, obviously get on that book call, or they leave that book call, okay, we're still nurturing them, we're still drip feeding them information, and then from there, okay, we want them to convert, all right? So the lead capture form is the start of the sequence and one of the most important things what we've got going on. So when we're coming back to this now, we need to have, you know, sort of an idea of what we're doing with our high income skill. So our high income skill that we use, what I predominantly use, is back-end systems and creating, you know, websites and, you know, offers for local sort of businesses, sort of like trades and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is we need to start the outreach case. So we've got the offer, what is going to be, you know, we've used ChatGPT to find out pricing, find out, you know, what local people are doing as well. Obviously, you know, I'll say the pricing structure a little bit later on in the video, but, you know, you're obviously going to start off cheaper, especially if you're just starting out, and then work your way up. So what we need to do then, obviously, when we've got pricing structures and offers and all that sort of stuff, and we built the brand through, you know, stuff like Go High Level and Hosting and all that, right, we need to start our outreach. Okay, so what you can say, where can we find leads? Now, there's tons and tons of websites to use. You know, there's A-Leads, there's Apollo, there's Clay, you know, there's Google Maps. Right, but the one I like to use, so you can see up here the little Pokemon ball, is Insta Data Scraper, okay, and it's also here. All right, so this is one I really do like using a lot. And basically what I do as well is I use Facebook groups, okay, and these are amazing. So this one here is local tradespeople in Greater Manchester. I think I got about 5 or 6 clients from this, all right, all paying, you know, I'm not going to say what my price is, okay, but they've all paid that amazing price and generated a lot of money, okay? So you probably not think it's a lot, but there was 11.7 people here just in one Facebook group, all right? And these are local tradespeople in Greater Manchester, right? So I managed to get 5 or 6 people out of there. Let's just say it's £1,000, you know, per sale, right? So obviously that's not the correct price what it is. I won't tell you my actual price just for reasons, but, you know, that's, you know, 5k minimum we've got from that one group alone, okay? 5k we've generated from using a high income skill. So basically what we want to be doing is scraping these leads from that, using the 11.7k people in this, okay, and building ourselves a lead list, all right? And now I'll go into my Skool Academy, you know, with more details, but basically you want to be, you know, tracking them, obviously, and stuff like that, descriptions, where they are. Obviously, we go into a little bit more detail on that in the Skool community, as you can imagine. And, you know, we update this over time, and we're just basically having all our leads in one place. And then, you know, we're going through and we're manually messaging every single client, an outbound message saying, look, we've got this service problem, we've got this opener. You know, we want to do this for you. Are you interested in a basic thing? And then the number one thing that you need to do from that, right, is you need to be tracking every single message you send. Right, so, you know, you want to be starting out with about 30 to 40, 50 messages a day, warm up them profiles for about a week or two, and then after that, you want to ramp it up to about 100 messages a day. So, obviously, this is what we had. One of our VAs was one of their sort of sheets from last year when they were working with us. Okay, so they're messaging so many hundred, you know, people a day on Facebook, on Instagram, right? We're tracking absolutely everything from appointment rate. Obviously, this is just a little mock-up one we had from when we were doing training for one of our VAs last year. At the back end, they were just on one of their profiles. You know, we'll talk about a VA is just straight after this. But, you know, you were tracking every single day. We were seeing how many messages we were getting sent, how many we were getting replies to, how many we were booking calls, etc. Okay? And then basically what you want to do is you want to get them from chatting and speaking to people, okay, asking stuff, opening them up. You know, what are you currently doing? What is your offer? You know, how long have you done it? Where do you want to see yourself in 3 to 6, you know, months' time? Why have you done nothing about that? Okay? And, you know, be that setter role in a way, you know, and trying to converse with, you know, people to basically try and sell, okay, and you want to lock them into a meeting. Now, what you want to be doing as well, you want to be sending obviously them 100 messages a day, and so, you know, working on that outreach. But there's another way that you can get leads as well, right? And then this is through the ecosystem. Now, this for me is the number one thing to get leads, and this is obviously why I'm doing these YouTube videos, because it's proven to work, okay? TikTok and all that sort of stuff, it is proven to work, okay? So this is our content department. So it seems like a lot, right? But this is basically what we've got doing here, and I'm using some of, you know, the best content I know, right, from some of the best people as an, you know, as a what's it called? As an example, yeah, sorry, mine went blank. So you should be posting content every single day. There is no reason why you should not be posting every single content every single day. For me, I usually post anywhere between 3 and 4 pieces of content a day, and then I distribute that over about 8 to 9 different platforms, right? So my platforms are all on, you know, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, obviously, YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn, stuff like that, and they're getting distributed all over the place, right? Because if you're not posting, you're invisible, and that's a simple matter of fact. And now in this day and age, in 2026, you need to be posting content. And if you've not seen my last video, go and check it out, and I show you exactly the content you need to use, the content you need to create, how much it is, how much you're tracking it, all that sort of stuff. And the analytics is a really, really good video, so please make sure to go back and watch that, right? Because you're competing against so many people right now, okay? Everyone is doing my robot videos. Everyone has got a podcast. Everyone is doing a vlog. Everyone's can do TikToks, all right? So it doesn't matter who you are, right? Your competition is always doing more. So you need to think to yourself and then challenge yourself and set the standards, saying, right, I need to outperform everyone else around me, because otherwise I'm not going to gain the rewards that I should be getting. I'm not generating the money that I said I'm going to generate. I set up myself out to generate, okay? So the algorithm rewards consistency as well, okay? So people say, oh yeah, you can only post 1 video a day between 5 and 7. It is absolute nonsense, okay? I've generated accounts from 0, you know, a few thousand followers now, right? We've done a video last week, okay? It's just generated just over 500,000 views, okay, in the last 3 days, and we posted that up at 11 o'clock at night on one of our worst performing days, right? Our top video has made about 2.1 million views on TikTok at the moment, all right? It was posted on a random Sunday at a random time, and it performed higher and better than any of our videos. So it doesn't matter about hashtags, it doesn't matter about posting times, okay? As long as you're consistent, you're constantly, you know, feeding out that system, and constantly, you know, the algorithm will reward you in the end. You are going to lose people, okay, because you're generating this top and middle of the funnel content, okay, and you don't know what that is. I've talked about it in my last video. And then, you know, so that's why I say it's really important to go back and watch all these other videos. But you are going to lose some followers from it, okay? I've lost about 50, 60 followers in probably the last 2-3 weeks, okay? Because I'm resetting my audience completely of the videos where it is. But I'd rather gain then an extra 30 or 40 of them people who are then going to refollow me, who are engaging my content, okay? Who maybe want to go ahead with a sales call, maybe want to do one-on-one training with me, stuff like that. And then you're building your profile back up with the correct amount of followers. Because I have, you know, followers from a party scene of the last 10 years. So now for the last year, I've been changing my audience, changing my content type, okay, and now my audience is changing with it, all right? So every single piece of content you're doing as well needs to have, you know, there needs to be some sort of direction with it. You can't just make content for the sake of it. Like here, I've designed this whole video about, obviously, you know, building the systems and where to start from 0, okay? So every content should have a purpose, right? And then you should have the keywords and the triggers like the CTAs, okay? So comment the word quote for a free price guide, DM info for get our checklist. You know, the second someone DMs that keyword, your automation wakes up, okay? And an automation tool that you can use is ManyChat. Use ManyChat. Is absolutely insane. It's about £15-16 a month, right? If anyone comments it, you've probably seen it absolute tons when people hear comment change, right? So someone just comment change here, view this reply. This would be Bill Walsh's, obviously auto bot, just replying back to it like, hey, check your DMs. You've probably seen this a million times and it just works, right? So there's 3 types of content that you guys need to be doing. So what we've got going on from our content types is reels, carousels, and stories, okay? So reels, the purpose of a reels, all right, is to reach new people and bring in fresh followers. So we can do this with trial reels, or are amazing to start off with as well. I always put trial reels on 24 hours before I release my post and get 100% new followers. You know, trial reels are amazing as well because it is proven that it's going to be 100% viewed by people who do not follow you. So every single view you get is going to be a new person viewing. So make sure to use and abuse the trial reels. Then carousels are there to educate and deepen authority with all your current followers, okay? So this is where you're going to nurture, you know, your carousels are where you're going to show your information off, show your expertise, show your skill, educate, and then, you know, you gain that authority from that, okay? And then stories is where you turn followers into paying customers. So we can use that from, you know, hiring people. You can do that through, obviously, CTA, so, you know, buy my course, get on my call, all this sort of stuff, okay? And it starts a process with a keyword being typed in, like this word here, right? Like the word change, right? And it's all directed to that funnel, okay? So as soon as the lead catcher goes in there, as soon as the keyword get mentioned, right, it's going to go straight away. The trigger starts, and the main whole point of obviously that trigger starting is to get people into a lead capture form, all right, and now they are in the funnel. Everything is driving towards the funnel. Every post drives traffic into your funnel. Every keyword comment becomes a lead in your CRM. You build an email list, okay, where you're constantly nurturing all these leads again, and you never lose a lead through DMs again. And you should be having this in a CRM, like sort of Go high level, or there's other softwares out there as well, and you have it in there, okay? And then through all the content that you're doing as well, you need to be tracking, okay? Because that's the only way you can see what is working and what is not. So you can see exactly what posts work, what did I do that day, and Instagram has an amazing feature where you can do it by day, by month, by week, etc. So we can see exactly who's seeing us, followers, non-followers. Like we've seen September to December, we had 250,000 views, okay? A whole month September, we had 60k. Whole month of October you had 105k, so obviously something was going right in October compared to the month of September, all right? And then obviously we go on there and we track every single post, every single lead, profile visits, followers, all that sort of stuff, demographics, and seeing who's working and not, okay? Because only once you see what works is when you can progress and make content plans around that content. Because if you know, then especially for the first 30-60 days when you're generating content, you're going to be doing all these sort of different ideas, okay? And you need to see what works and what sticks. There's no point doing a year's worth of content of completely different stuff, right? After about 30 or 60 days, you'll have an idea what your audience likes, what your audience doesn't like, right? And then what works and what flops, okay? Because, if you compare your average views to interactions, if you have a 5x to 10x video, that is a banger. So what we've got here, we've got a story post from when I was leaving. It's the last day the hotel shut for me, for a hotel I was DJing at for the last 5 or 6 years. All right, that had 8k views, okay? Whereas compared to another post here, I done 2k, okay? So I have 4x my views, right, in just a normal post, okay? We've got 3k views here on my local looks when I was announcing the Skool Academy, all right? Now there's completely different, and now I know that this sort of content, right, was not working compared to this content. It was completely different. So I know then in the future, okay, let's do some more of this content, okay, some more stories like this, and that is what I've been doing, and that is what's been converting, right? And then you can see it from there. So I can see exactly what works, what doesn't. You go through all my videos from the last couple of months. I can see here, there's videos here when I was trying to do in real life stuff, wasn't working, trying to bait stuff out with like girls in bikinis, that wasn't working. And then there's videos here slowly gaining more traction compared to the ones that wasn't, and the ones that are flopping under 1,000 views. So if I knew I had a video, my average view count at the moment is about 1,200, 1,400, right? So if I know if I'm getting 4 or 5k views in a video, I know that video is doing well for a reason, and then we try and just replicate it. It's simple as that, okay? So when we're making content and like stuff like that, we want to build it into an ecosystem. So this is where we're going to get a little bit of detail. This is where it gets good, right? So how clients would normally get work and how content used to work. Okay, it used to be word of mouth, and that's how it used to be, all right? Now it's completely changed. So as a business coach, as an agency, as a service-based business, anything, it used to be, right, word of mouth, oh yeah, go work with this person, they're great. Now with the amazing age of social media and anyone can make content, this is what we do, okay? So traffic can now come from paid ads, referrals, or organic. So if you don't know what organic is, it's basically Instagram, YouTube shorts, YouTube videos like this, Facebook, TikTok, X, LinkedIn. They're all organic, getting feed into obviously a system where you're going to hopefully generate some leads from, okay? And then obviously you can do paid ads and get directly in front of the eyeball to the people you want to see, and then referrals, people you've worked with before. Because a great way of making more money, okay, is working with the people you've already got. Okay, so obviously when we start making a bit of money, we can say to people, oh yeah, if you refer to someone, I'll give you a bonus of say £50 or £100 per person you send me, right? Today alone, I've had one person send me 3 people, okay, from St. Helens to generate them websites, right? So that person then has generated now over £300 just from referrals, just from me alone today, right? I've generated a lot more than that. I've generated over £1,000 more than that today, right? From building websites, building systems and stuff like that. But we've used a referral system. I did not know them 3 businesses when I woke up this morning, but now I do, okay? Because we had the referral system there work. So the social networks, the entry point, Instagram, Facebook's and all that, all right? That's why your shop window is so important, okay? Every post has to have a keyword that sends traffic link, all that sort of stuff. Everything's getting in that funnel, like we said, okay? Then we got the lead capture form, all right? So all the traffic goes here. They basically fill out the name, emails, and that's the basically main one. We need their email, we need their name, and that goes into your CRM. We have the 14-day follow-up conversion stage. Okay, so every single day for the first 14 days, we're sending them emails. If they didn't book a call directly, right, we're going to use these 14 days in to try and nurture them to book a call, etc. All right. Then, if they don't go through that, we're going to do the 90-day nurture long game. Okay, leads who don't convert, they stay warm. We'll give them weekly value videos, value. We're giving them testimonials, all that sort of stuff to try and convert them a little bit later down the line. Okay, now because they're cold now, doesn't mean they're going to be cold in a few months, down the line. Okay, same way you see like an email from maybe Nike or Foot Locker or Foot Asylum or whatever, right? Once you've bought it online, you've put your details in, etc. on the cart, you're wondering, why am I still getting these emails? Okay, and then when it comes around to the holidays or a birthday, or you've got a bit of spare cash, and you just go on your emails as you do like everyone does, you say, oh, Foot Locker, I've got 20% off. Yeah, I'm going to use Foot Locker today, or a special Black Friday deal or something like that, because you're in that nurture sequence. Okay, so you might not use the deal today. That does not mean the deal is dead. However, the fulfillment and the reviews came on day one of the job. What we will do, okay, as soon as we fulfill with a client, we will send them a review instantly. All right, it's something we've always done working with service-based businesses. When we're working with coaches and other stuff like that and businesses, what we will do is a little bit different. What we'll do then is we'll send for businesses we're actually working for, right? We'll send them a message after the first week of working with them. Okay, like, how have you found it? And then 9 times out of 10, they're going to give you a great review. They'll be, oh, it's amazing, because they're at the highest of the high, right? But what we do then for the businesses, okay, who are working for the clients that we're working for, so i.e., I'm working, we've got, say an electrician have come to me saying, all right, I want to build my electrician brand. I'm like, cool, right. So what we'll do then, we'll take the electrician's customer, right? As soon as that electrician's done the job, less than 24 hours, basically as soon as I get the notification off that electrician saying, yep, that job's done, that client, that customer, okay, will get a notification for Google reviews, all right? So the more reviews you get, the more high Google ranking you get, more free leads and stuff like that, okay? And then obviously we've got the referral system, loyalty system for repeat bookings. 1 client becomes 5, right? And then, it's like the rule of 3 as well. If you, do something good, you pass it on to 3 people, and then it eventually grows and grows and grows, and then you rinse and repeat the whole cycle. And then you've got this whole ecosystem as well of all this organic content here, right, of Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, right? They are all intertwined with, obviously, your landing page as well, right, like we said, okay, but they are bouncing off each other. They're constantly going back and forth, okay? So we have this ecosystem. Like in my YouTube, you'll know in the descriptions, okay? For my Instagrams, it'll have, a link to my Skool Academy, and then everything is all linked together there. So everything you need to do is, it's all pushing towards one narrative, what is getting yourself in that, lead capture form and starting that sequence. So with your content as well, it's really important, especially like we said, we're making one piece of content a day, is batch making this content, okay? If you can, set up aside, 1 or 2 days to make 6 or 7 videos on TikTok, that's great. And then you can use stuff sort of like, Facebook Business Suite, Meta Business Suite. You can use TikTok now online on the desktop version to schedule. YouTube you can schedule, Instagram you can schedule, Facebook you can all schedule, you know what I mean? So make sure you're scheduling your content, right? And if you want to put it onto your key times and see where people are, you can do, but like I said, it doesn't really make a difference, all right? But the more quality content out there, your views get higher, more chance people will see you, right? So if you're posting about your high income skills and your niche, like obviously you'll see my videos and be like, right, I'm posting about service-based businesses and how to solve their problems. If you're making content like that about your industry, your high ticket offer, your low ticket offer, your service, your delivery, everything like that, and you're making content of it, right, you're going to look like an expertise in your field, okay? And the more content you post, you become, a complete authority figure in that niche and in that industry, okay? So make sure you schedule it, a post with it, interact with everyone who engages with your content as well. You know what I mean? Go out there and speak to people all the time as well. Speak to people relating into, your niche, your industry. As you're starting up as well, I wouldn't say niche down because, the field is far too big, all right? There's so many opportunities. Get yourself in there, make as much money as you want, but interact with everyone on your content. Have key CTAs in your system as well to get them into the funnel. If you're a business or if you're a coach or anything like that, or like we're starting off out here, if you're starting up your business, have a key CTA to start getting people in. Give away something for free, right? So I like a marketing tool or something like that. Like I use some great marketing tools. I've got great templates, great tools. I've made up myself. I give away for free. And then basically on what I get in return is their details to put them in that sequence. And then I can start nurturing them, etc. All right. So what the difference is between a £200 a month to a £5,000 a month person is this, okay? Is creating content, is batching content, is not doing it on a whim. You're planning your content, planning your CTAs, okay? And this is where we get big, and this is where I'm going to show you now. We're talking about the big stuff. So if you're doing one video a day, okay, one Instagram reel, one Facebook, one Threads, one TikTok, one short, okay, so that's one piece of content now, all right, on 5 different platforms. So you're 5 times as likely now to be seen by someone else compared to if you're just doing one video on Instagram, uploading it and leaving it, all right? Long as you're redirecting someone to your site, your offer of the volume will bring in leads in time. One piece of content a day, 7 pieces of content a week, 28 a month, 364 pieces a year, okay, distributed over 5 platforms. It is a lot, right? So imagine now you're doing 2 videos a day, okay? 56 pieces a month, 728 pieces of content per year, distributed over 5 or 6 different platforms. Now, if you're doing 3 videos a day, 5,460 pieces per year, okay? Now, do you see the difference? In volume is B everywhere. This goes the same for DMs, for messaging people, right? You want to put your net out there as much as possible, because if you're thinking, I'm going to do 1 video a week, right? There is not a chance, because you're going to get people like me, people like all the pros out there, the people who are making 10, 20, 50, 100, £1 million a month. They're generating all this money because they're putting so much effort in it, and you think your one reel is going to make a difference. It's not. You're going to think, do I really want this? I never want this. I'm going to have to put some hard work in. And the way you can put all this hard work in and relieve your stress, right, you need to invest back into your business. And the first thing I always tell everyone to do, as soon as you get a bit of money, if you have about £300-400 spare a month, or hopefully you should do, if you're working another job and then getting clients signed up as well, is invest in a VA. So I was going on about this before. The VA is a virtual assistant. You can use a VA for anything, okay, for admin work, for designing graphics, editing. For me, I use a VA for all my outbound messaging, so I don't have to sit there and message every single day, right? My VA is currently on holiday, and I've got another VA filling in for her this week. But basically, if you're sending 100 messages a day, what is basically the bare minimum you need to be doing every single day, right? 100 messages a day, 5 days a week is 500 messages, 2k messages a month, all right? Over the year, 26,000, okay, if you're sending 500 messages over 50 weeks, so 26,000 potential prospects. Obviously, they're not all going to go ahead, we know that. But if you hire a VA now and you're sending 200 messages a day, and you tell them, right, I'm going to pay you £400 a month to send all these messages, right, what you've got going on there now, instead of the 26,000 potential prospects, now you've got the 62,400 prospects potentially, all right? And then if you get a VA to basically do 300 messages a day, right, we're on 93,000 messages, okay? So you can see the difference there already from just hiring someone for, and then you're freeing up their time then. So imagine how long it takes you to, message 100 people, okay? It probably takes you a little bit of a while, maybe an hour or two, right? So if you're doing that there, right, now imagine the times free, so you can then generate content, sales, looking at your other businesses, right? The complete difference in all 3 levels here. So that's why it's important to, use your time, and you've got it there, okay? So imagine, your pricing could be all these different sort of prices as well. How you can hit your goals quicker is from using these VAs to do all your outbound messaging for you. You're creating the content, the funnel's coming in, you've got more time than just put in the sales call and work on your pricing as well. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to talk about pricing, and then this is how it's completely different, but this is the best way I think you should do. So to hit your goal of 5k a month, okay, is about 60k annual. A good way of doing this, okay, is roughly pricing points are anywhere from 497, 597, 997, 1,997 to 997. Okay, the reason we do this is a psychological trick. So instead of saying 499 or 500 quid, it seems more expensive. However, if I put it down to 497, psychologically it seems less. Obviously it is less, but it seems way less. So more people are inclined to buy at 497 than they are at 500. You know what I mean? It's just one of them, okay? And then what we can do for generating more money, okay, we can have different sort of systems and goals and payment structure. What we're going to talk about in a little while. What are probably the best techniques to generate more money, right? You can do stuff like add-ons. You can have retainers, target goals, one-time payments, annual subscriptions, upsells like primary cover, onboarding fees, admin fees, stuff like that, and you can generate more income from that. So you could say, all right, so today is a normal our normal product is $497, for example. Okay. However, we do have a £200 onboarding fee, right? And everyone usually goes, yeah, that's normal, right? So you just generated then £200 out of nowhere from this onboarding fee. Now you've just generated, if you have 5 clients from that, you've generated an extra £1,000 from literal nowhere just from this onboarding fee, right? And then a big thing what we say to people, this is what we do, okay? We do billing every 28 days. Now, the reason we do this, all right, is one, it's very clever. Now, this is a thing I've only learned in the last, I don't know, maybe 3-4 months, and I wish I knew it sooner. So we do billing every 28 days now in my business, and I hope you guys incorporate this too, because there's 52 weeks in a year, okay? So in a calendar month, this gives you 12 payments. However, if we change that then to a 28-day cycle, it gives us 1 extra payment to 13. Right, so it's the same service, same work, but we get 1 extra full payment per year. So the percentage difference, right? Let you say your service is £1,000 for your service, and you're doing monthly billing, for example, right? So monthly billing, we're doing 1,000 times 12, we're getting 12 grand a year. However, with 28-day billing, right, we're generating an extra £1,000, so we're now making 13k a year. Okay, so it's an 8.3% increase in annual revenue without adding a single new client. Right, doing any extra work, we're just changing the billing and the payment dates. So if you have got 10 clients now, they're all paying that extra £1,000. You've just generated an extra 10k a year from how you've structured your billing, right? No ads, no extra staff, no extra hours. You've just been very smart and played the game very, very well. And some businesses do this better than others, right? And this, can generate you more revenue from doing literally zero work just by being smart, right? And I've got to shout out Cameron England for giving me this. He's a great mentor on YouTube, what I've been watching, okay, and he told me about this tool, right, and this structure of billing, and it's absolutely, it's amazing. You're generating more revenue from doing the same task without any less work. So now going on to billing, as well, I want to get into this. So obviously we're going to a little bit more in detail here. So we're going to go up here. Let's get it back. So basically you need to work out what your pricing is, okay, how long it takes you to do a skill, what to charge, etc. Right, so your monthly cost is divided by the available hours and your minimum hourly rate. So you need to basically find out a rate for yourself that you're happy to charge to starting off. But like I said, then a good starting rate, I will probably start off with what we say in the Skool community, doing your first 2 or 3 for free. Right, from there then get to about £200, then 250, 300, and then start working way up a little bit more. So you're consistent of making, £500 a month. That's around about the benchmark for people that are starting out. But obviously at the start, to get all your testimonials and get your social proof in, to prove your skill works, do your first couple for friends or family, do them for free, right? They suck, do 1 or 2, get them testimonials in them videos in that social proof saying, yeah, we worked with such and such, they done this offer, it was amazing, bam. And now you can use that social proof now to say you've done this skill, you're an expertise in this skill and you've got experience in it. Right, and now you can start charging £300, £400 a month client. But I'm going to show you how to generate a little bit more money and how we get from making, a couple £100 to making 5, 6, 10k a month. Really, really easy. So your hourly rate is the only fee, for your pricing, right? Never charge hourly, right? Always do a flat rate, okay? Because a retainer a month is where you have the cost to do the job, the tools, the hours it takes you to do the profit margins, right? And you always want to, have about a 20 to 30 to 40% profit margin. Ideally, I have it around 35 to 40% of my profit margins I'll add on top. So what you want to do is your monthly cost divided by your available hours of your minimum hourly rate. So if I have 1,200 monthly costs, 70 hours of work in a month, £17 per hour, add the profit margin of 40%. 17 times 1.4 is 23.80 is my hourly rate. We'll round it up. £25 an hour is roughly my hourly rate when I was starting out, right? And that, as a guide, pros will probably charge 50 to 100, 150, 200. So it's important to know your worth, all right? So let's just say it takes me 10 hours to actually do the job at £25 an hour, right? It's £250 then it probably cost me. Add then the 40-50% profit margin, 375. Add the strategy, revisions, hosting, all that sort of stuff, all your system tools and all that on top. Now you're looking at probably about 497. Okay, so see where your money grows from having your skill and knowing your worth, etc. from the start, and knowing that your man rate is probably £25 an hour, right? Probably only takes me 10 hours, probably about 250 quid's worth of work. However, I'm factoring all the other stuff in as well, all right? And then we're at £500 here, right? So what one option is when we're starting out is monthly retainer. So you can say, right, a website build for me is £497, okay? Then we've got our £200 onboarding fee, like we said before. So I've just made £200 on top. Then it's £697. I made that. Then we say, right, we've done a priority support as an extra £27 a month, £17 a month as a little increased bump, and then you've got a monthly retainer of say like £99 or £100. I don't know, it completely depends, right? However, if you do not know your numbers, right, the client owns you, and then your cost, your time, and all your profit margins, you can control the business, right? That's the whole point why you're here today, is to have your own business and to know it, right? So you need to know your numbers. You need to understand where you're coming from. There's no point lowballing and telling your friends you're going to do, mates rates and all that, because it ain't going to work. Your friends should be there to support you in the nicest way, but you can do stuff like referrals with friends and give them a little portion of the profits, to gain new clients from existing clients as well, like we've said. But you can see where we can put little bumps of money on from like onboarding fees, priority lists, the 28-day billing. But I'm going to show you now where the pros do it, and this is what is really, really top. Right, so what we have a one-time fee. So if we have a one-time fee, this is really great. So we have a one-time fee, no retainer, but we have a percentage-based, reward-based model. So you can add higher one-time fee. So, for example, if my product is normally $497, all right? This is just for example. Obviously, mine's a lot different. I can then charge you, right? I'm going to charge a little bit more because there's no retainer. So then you go from $497 to $747, for example, okay? Then you put it in the 28-day billing, and then what you would say then to the client on the call is saying, right, what we're going to do is it's a one-time fee. However, we do a one-time setup fee, onboarding, getting all the tools ready, etc., and then we take a 15% share of the growth from what our system has generated you, okay? Only bookings from our system will only take a percentage base from there. So one-time fee plus revenue share, okay? This model wins for both parties, and this is how we reframe it on the call, okay? So for number one, it's a lower risk for the client, right? They're happy to pay that instead of, real people, they're getting all the time these old people, paying monthly retainers, and, a lot of time they'll pay it and they're not really doing the work, right? So then there's lower risk for the client, more risk on us, but we're really there to make sure that the product works. So it only pays when it works. So they're only getting paid unless the system works, and it massively increases the close rate as well. Okay, you're more likely to close a customer on a sales call, on a meeting, after they consumed all your content, they got in the lead funnel, they want to work with you, they want to use your service, they want to get involved with your high income skill. They've seen like, yeah, you're the person for me. If you say like, look, all the risk is on me here, you've got zero risk, all right? We only get paid once we provide that service and it has gone through it. Anything else apart from that service, and if it's not gone through our system, we don't get paid. So it massively increases the close rate compared to, oh yeah, I want you to pay us a monthly fee every single month, even if we don't perform. And you're like, well, no. So that's why, it's a big win on that side, okay? You get paid for real performance. Well, you're not billing for time, you're not selling hours, you get paid on results generated, and that positions you as a partner and not a contractor as well, okay? Number 3 is unlimited upside for you, right? Retainers cap your income. Now, this is what I said from we can generate a business, from generating, a free £400 a month retainer compared to, retainers where 15%, I'm making well over £1,000 a month from retainers alone, not retainers, from percentage-based incomes alone, right? Because, the one system can outperform 10 flat fee clients, right? You build it once, you earn repeatedly, and as long as your client is happy, then they're building in more work, and the more they grow, the more you grow as well. So you're growing and your client is growing at the same time with your offer, okay? You both got aligned incentives as well for number 4, okay? Both sides want the same thing. You both want more leads, you both want more conversions, you both want more revenue. There's no awkward conversations about, deliverables, right? The system either makes money or it don't. It works or it doesn't, okay? And it makes you more hungry as well, okay? Also with this, you get stronger client commitment, okay? Clients treat revenue shares systems seriously, okay? They follow instructions, they respond faster, they do not ghost you, right? You're not chasing up every single month for invoices and to get paid and stuff like that, because their money is directly tied to the outcome, okay? So they're locked in, just like you. Number 6 is easier renewals and longer relationship, okay? If the revenue is coming in, no one's going to cancel. So it is just a constant cycle of just generating income coming in every single month. And the better it performs, the more money you get, the more the business grows. And then it's literally just adding fuel onto the fire, and it just grows and grows, and you both are winning, okay? The system becomes part of the business, and it's not an expense to cut out, all right? So one-time fee covers the build, revenue share rewards the program, okay? Low risk for them, unlimited upside for you, and aligned incentives on both sides. Okay, so if your system generally is good and it makes money, this is the most powerful way to sell to a client as well. If it does not, you should not be offering it. Okay, this alone puts you ahead of 90% of the market who are still stuck in the old 2000, 2001, 2019 Iman Gadi social media market agency. You pay for a fee and then you're doing monthly retainers. Okay, this is not the model that you want. You want to be getting in there straight away. And like we said, with referrals as well, we want to be using them referrals and all our testimonials, etc., on our Instagram and on our social media platform. Okay, shouting people out and tagging them in videos, etc., on posts like we do here. Like I've seen, I do it all the time. Any clients I've worked with, I'll make sure to tag them into our Instagram highlight reels, right? And then it goes back into the system, okay? And then it's a full system rewarding itself. So it was a business what started out by me less than 11 months ago. I did not know any of this, all right? And we've already generated well over £80,000 now, okay, by building a core offer of systems of a high income skill, something that I'm good at, something that I had not expertise in, but a little bit of knowledge in, and I used it for it, okay. And then we work up all this slowly, and in time you generate more and more money. So the roadmap, the basic premises of it all, if you want to get the fast track, like I said, we've got the Skool community in the link in the description, but the roadmap is you need to generate traffic, okay. You get that VA outreach out there, sending minimum 100, 200 messages every single day, 5 days a week, right? Content marketing and doing all your content, a piece of content every single day, paid ads, a great way for less than £10 a day, right? £300 a month. You can put yourself in front of thousands and thousands of people who want exactly what you're selling, right? You can target demographic, audience choosing. I'm going to do a video on paid ads on my next video, right? But it's very, very, very crucial, paid ads, to grow. And it's the next step I'm taking in my business, taking it really seriously for, an income stream there to get people coming in, not an income stream, for a stream of new customers coming in. That is, a huge one for me for 2026, to utilize paid ads more. Okay, cold DMs, like we said, going out there, cold emails, cold calls, referral programs, generating that traffic, creating that buzz around you. Then you need to convert that traffic as well, okay? Sales funnel, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, right? Creating interest, showing your education, showing your lifestyle, all that sort of stuff. Getting in there, email marketing as well, okay? So once they're in the funnel, etc., right? And you've given, you've got their details, they've got that free tool, is nurturing them in a 7-day, in a 14-day, in a 90-day, 21-day, 28-day, whatever day it is, right? Email sequence to get them basically to convert and keeping them warm even when they're cold, right? Setters, so basically setters is something we'll go into a little bit more detail about a little bit later on in another video. Basically, setters are people who just chat for you, okay? Like a VA will do the messaging for you. You can hire a setter to basically convert people, from your DMs into booking calls, and you can give them a percentage of either 10, 15, 20% of the closed deal for them, basically converting and basically setting the meeting for you. So setters are a great way to do it. Ad creatives, like we just said, then ad creatives is a great way to convert traffic through paid ads. They go directly to your landing page or your lead form. Webinars is another one as well we can use to show expertise and show obviously your education on your platform and on your skill and stuff like that. Automations, like we said before, ManyChat, make sure to download ManyChat, and because as soon as you're putting them key CTA words in there, it is starting that system straight away. Like that automation, we're going to go on then. All your automated stuff, okay, from your trackers, go high level, go through all these softwares if you're starting out and just learn them, okay? Spend a good few days, 2-3 weeks on learning all these processes, okay? You're not going to be making £1,000, £2,000, £5,000 in the first week, right? Unless you get very, very lucky. So go away, learn these skills, go on YouTube, go and look at all these all these gurus, all right? Go on Instagram, go on TikTok. There's so much content out there, it is ridiculous, right? But then if you want to speed it up, we've got the Skool community as well, what's amazing, right? Then obviously your back end, you're doing all your recruitment, and we can talk about all this as well when we are in the Skool community, right? Agreements. If you've got a contract, okay, you never want to call it a contract with a client ever, right? You want to call it an agreement, and then you want to save it on stuff sort of like Panda Docs, something like that. Recruitment, obviously we can talk about recruitment a little bit. This basically we want to be hiring more like setters, VAs, CSMs. We're going to do a video on that a little bit more detail, but that's more like the 5, 10k, 10k plus. Once you're starting out, you don't really have to worry about recruitment, okay? All you got to really do is probably hire a VA just to get yourself out there as well, right? So that's everything for this video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Okay, it has been a long one, showing my detailed plan of me coming from absolute zero, being at this bar here, working in a dead-end job, hating my life, to traveling the world now, generating income from a high income skill, right? The blueprints are here. You've got to implement them, okay? There's only so much I can tell you what to do, but it's up to you what to do. And this is just literally just the core basics, okay? Converting, obviously, your page from what you are now to what you want to be, i.e. changing your bio, changing your profile picture. These small wins compound over time, all right? Learning, learning the high income skills, going away, if it's, paid ads you want to learn, if it's, email marketing you want to learn, if you want to be a media buyer, all these sort of stuff. And then building the profile along with it, okay? Creating the content, getting the leads, tracking the leads, messaging people, outbound, following up people, okay? You make sure you follow up 7, 8, 9, 10 different times, right? You're not just letting it run riot and you're just not messaging once and letting that lead go cold, etc. So you need to be in there, in the trenches every single day, right? You need to be making, mock sort of previews for a client to see. You need to just be on the ball here. Like, if you want to genuinely make success and make this money, you can do it. There's been no better time in the world to do this, all right? You can do it solo, you can do it by building teams. If you want to make 1K, you can make 1K. If you want to make 100K, you can make 100K. You're going to get in, right? You're going to basically get out what you've put in. And, use me as living proof. I'm not someone who's here saying, I'm making 100 grand a month like these fake gurus. I'm showing you what a real person in the UK has made from 1 year trying to change their life, right? And it has been life-changing on so many factors. So you got to think, right, do I really want this? Can I dedicate myself to this? Dedicate 30, 60, 90 days to changing your life. And believe me, right, you'll see the benefits for it. So that's been the video. We're going to have plenty more coming up as well. Make sure to follow my Instagram, TikTok. If you want to join the Skool community as well, the link is in the description. Make sure to subscribe, like the video. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.